Good morning and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our third quarter 2023 top master plan update. I'm Tim Sullivan, our Chief Advisory Officer, and today you will be treated to the insights of Mollie Carmichael, a principal, and I'll give an appropriate introduction to Mollie in just a moment. So I want to make sure you guys know that you can ask questions as we go, and our next slide will even show you that. We will have a recording of this if you're interested in sharing it out with your group. We will take questions. I'll monitor them during the process, and we always learn from those. So please do not hesitate to ask. And then at the end, there should be a little survey. Now, the agenda, you can see our 7 points. We'll start with just a couple things that are new with our organization. And then I will also introduce Mollie and we'll dive into our methodology. There's some really interesting things going on today, ladies and gentlemen. So please keep an eye on this. And we're going to do a little special spotlight on the active adult market. Now, before we get started, let's talk about the fact that Mollie and I are part of a nationwide team. And if you have issues with land use and feasibility and ultimately what do we do, where do we do it, and how do we build it, that's what we're here for. You can see all the bullets here, summarize some of the things we're doing. You'll see a deep dive today into our segmentation thought process, and Mollie leads our charge there. So you'll see more about that in just a minute. The next thing I'd like to share with you is that, guys, jump on our website, zondahome.com/market snapshot. And just download a free market snapshot. We're constantly working on these, trying to make them more and more insightful. And I think you'll find that they're a pretty good benchmark for you to consider how things are moving in a market you're looking at or a market that you're currently in. Furthermore, we are upgrading our Enterprise and Zonda iPad and want to make sure that you understand there's a couple really cool things here. One of them is that it's just our most popular app, but we're adding in latitude and longitude search inputs. We've enhanced the sorting and exporting features, and it's now available on your favorite macOS device. So for more information on the Zonda Pad, please visit the website, fill out the survey at the end. We can talk about all that. Furthermore, we want to make sure that you know we're diving into the rental housing side of the world. Now, we have an entire multifamily practice led by Kimberly Byram. But Mollie and I are also very involved in the rental side of the world, particularly for single family. And we've started to translate that expertise into what we call the RHO, the Rental Housing Outlook. And the concept here is that you'll get some insights and a nationwide perspective on various markets. And we're also doing an annual survey in capital markets. And then we'll also be doing webinars following this. So keep an eye out for that. And we'd love to have you part of it. Look at ZondaHome.com rental housing. And also, one of the cool things about what we're trying to do with the sales and marketing suite is connect the processes of selling a home, making it more, it's easier to do and helping all builders put their product out faster and less expensive. And it makes your marketing your communities easier with this suite of product. You can list free on Livable, and that's a 4-letter word, free, F-R-E-E. And it's the most comprehensive new home site. So that's the key part. We are a new home site, and it's made exclusively for the new residential construction side. But you can also bring your product to life with virtual, because we can help you create 3D designs of your homes and your sites. And last but not least, with UTour, we allow shoppers to explore the models at any time, on their time. All of this together, we're trying to make a frictionless process to sell more homes. So go with us on that ride. So here's our agenda for today, and I'm going to transition into Mollie right now. Now, for those of you who haven't met Mollie or heard her speak, you're in for a treat. Mollie is a principal in charge of our segmentation efforts. And what I mean by that is that she does constant consumer research. She's in the field all the time. By the way, this is one of her 2 jobs. And then she puts it together into the concept of what is the consumer looking for. And I don't think there's a better person in the industry that knows product. I learn from her every time I'm with her. I think you will today too. But the other job that Mollie has is taking care of her family. And that family is twofold, the family at work and the family at home. She's a proud mother of some really boisterous boys. Her husband, Kenny, is a heck of a guy. And I want you to know that on weekends, Mollie splits that time between the family and work. And I've often found her in her trailer doing research on master plans Sunday at 2 in the afternoon. So I just want you to know how Molly spends her off time. This is the stuff she looks at. Ladies and gentlemen, my friend and our principal, Mollie Carmichael. Mollie, take it away.
Thanks, Tim, for that introduction. As you all know, I have no life. But let's dive right in. We're going to look at master plans today, and we're going to talk about Q3 and the results. First, before we start, we're going to look at the methodology. We'll look at year end for 2022 as a benchmark, then Q2, and then, of course, the results for Q3. And then our special topic, we're going to look at active adults. So let's dive right in. So let's start with our methodology. What's the goal? We're looking at who's doing it best and then who's driving the most profit. And the emphasis is who. From a builder perspective, from a developer perspective, and the master plan, they all work together. And so we're going to talk about all of that. We look at 3 categories: sales, starts, and closings to determine that. So sales represents the builder. But if they aren't starting that product, they aren't buying land from the developer, right? So that's where the developer wins. And then, of course, closings, both the developer and the builder wins. So we're going to look at all 3 of those. I want to underscore that all 3 of these categories, we double check each and every category. So sales, we're not only getting that from the sales offices, we're getting it reported from the developers. And then I'm also following up to make sure that your numbers are rolling up and we're seeing those correct. Same thing on starts, same thing on closings. There's a double validation for all of that to make sure we're reporting the right information for you. Why don't we do just sales? The reality is, if we did just sales, it's just not an accurate performance indicator. There's cancellations, there's all kinds of things that can go wrong between the sale and the closing. So we just believe really measuring both from a developer perspective and a builder perspective, it's the right way to measure performance. And luckily, with our methodology, we can. So again, looking at all 3 of those, we're going to indicate who the top performers are from a master plan perspective. So let's dive in. I like to look at 2022. This is sort of like a horse race. So we know who won in 2022. And then we're going to start to talk about how the quarter builds up as we get to year end. So for 2022, we had the Villages, Lakewood Ranch, Summerlin, Cane Bay, Silverleaf, Ontario, Babcock, Epperson, Silverado, and on top of the world. And you can see the Smile States, or mostly to the south, you can see all of those master plans come from those Smile States. And we're showing the top 25 in the map. You can see the top 10 there in the left. So when we look at Q2, let's see how that's really changed. So you can see, based on the indicator there to the far left, you'll see the top 10 for Q2. So you'll see Cadence came up, Tamarind came up, Bridgeland came down 1, Ontario Ranch came up from 12 and made it up into the top 10 for Q2 of 2023. Now let's look at Q3. So the top 6 all stayed the same. And then Welland Park, look at Welland Park go. They came from 15 to 7. And then Silverleaf did drop down 1. I think you're going to see that that has to do with a little bit of inventory shifting. And then, of course, Bridgeland and Ontario Ranch stay the same. And then how many of those communities are active adult? You can see all but 4 actually have active adult in those. And we'll talk more about that in detail. So now let's look at the details. So when we look at sales, you can see the horse race here. It's kind of exciting. Clearly well ahead, the Villages, followed by Lakewood Ranch, and then it falls pretty significantly behind, but still staggering with almost 1,000 sales with Centerra, and then Summerlin, and then all the rest kind of stay very closely together. So now if we look at starts, you start to see a shift in changes. Now starts, I think, is exciting because, like a horse race, those starts start to indicate who might win the future races. So I'll be curious to see how Q4 performs, and then certainly going into 2024. So again, Villages clearly in the lead with almost 2,400 sales, Lakewood Ranch at almost 2,000 sales, but Centerra really picking up pace at 1,260 sales. Now, when we look at the overall ranking and the blending of sales starts and closings, who's really in the clear lead? Again, clearly the Villages, followed by Lakewood Ranch, but Centerra looks like it's going to pick up some pace. I have high hopes for them in 2024 as well. When you see it all together, you can actually see each of the sales starts and closings together and what that looks like. And again, keep a close eye. Closings are a lagging indicator. Starts are going to be that leading indicator. So it's interesting to look at things like Welland Park. They're picking up on their starts. Lakewood Ranch is neck and neck with their closings, but Centerra is picking up on their starts. Cadence is picking up on their starts. So keep a close eye on those communities. I also really love it. So Allie and her team are studying everything they possibly can about what's going on in the market. They've created this great indicator that really shows how do each of these markets rank amongst each others with a blend of all the different pieces that we have that we're studying. And you can see clearly the East is winning. And look at the Midwest shining bright green. I mean, it's really interesting to see those markets really perform. They've had a tough couple of years, but Minneapolis, Chicago, Columbus, all of those are looking pretty strong. Now we're seeing some struggles in Reno, San Jose, San Francisco, Colorado Springs. Those are markets that have had challenges with, frankly, just being overpriced. And we'll start to see those markets, I think, shift, and you'll see that in some of the indicators that we have. When we look at that relationship, though, of top performance and our market rankings, it ties really closely with the top performing master plans. So take a look at Florida and how green those are with top performance. Take a look at Texas. Take a look at Southern California and, of course, Nevada. You can actually see how those are bright green and tie very closely to performance. The other thing that's interesting to look at is just our overall sales index for all of these markets. Markets that have really struggled over the last year to year and a half. Look at their sales index overall year over year for markets like Sacramento, Phoenix, Vegas, the Inland Empire, Denver. Thank God some of those markets are starting to see some recovery. And it's great to see their year over year sales performance improve. And that, again, should translate over to your acquisition strategies and how you're looking at master plan for the future. Now, if you want to see the top 25 above and beyond the top 10, I always like to show this because there's so many other master plans that are performing. And then you can also see what percentage of those have active adults. So clearly more than half of the master plans performing do have a mix of conventional as well as active adult overall. But other interesting things to see are those green arrows to the far left, master plans that are climbing towards that lead to make it into the top 10. Look at Westlake, Inspirata, On Top of the World, Tradition, and Sienna. Those are all climbing up along with Welland Park that moved from 15 to number 7. The last part that I really like to look at, again, sort of a future indicator, is when we look at sales in relationship to starts. So how many NPCs are actually selling more homes than they're even starting? And so it's almost like they're outselling themselves. That should cause more pressure on demand and more pressure on pricing as well. So look at Santa Rita Ranch and Silverleaf, Sienna, and Great Park neighborhoods. And now some of those master plans won't have the land to actually fulfill that future demand. And so hopefully more master plans will follow in those areas. So now let's dive into our special topic. We're going to start out first with the top performing master plans, not all active adult, but the top master plans that we just talked about, and what percentage of active adult is actually there and what those look like. So as I mentioned, 60% of the top NPCs actually include active adult in that top 10. And it's probably that same number, if not greater, for the top 25 as we looked at. And let's look at that segmentation. Overall, for the villages, it's 100% active adult. That's staggering considering the numbers that they're actually achieving. When we look at Lakewood Ranch, you can see their sales actually sell from the high 4s all the way up to, it looks like, the low 8s there. For Summerlin, you've got home prices benefiting obviously from the California location, cashing out a lot of equity there, moving over to the Las Vegas market. It's a no tax market, and Summerlin is a phenomenally planned master plan in the high 400,000s all the way to the low 900,000s for active adults. Coming in number 4 is Cadence. Now you won't actually see active adult today, But Lennar actually had heritage there. And so there was active adult there. And this location serves naturally as active adult. A large portion of the community there in Las Vegas, it's people, again, it's flight coming from California, cashing out equity and looking to retire with at least half of that in the bank. Last but not least, for our top 5 that we're looking at is Welland Park. This is a phenomenal master plan, and it used to be called West Villages, then rebranded as Welland Park. Rick and his team have really changed the whole landscape there with a brand new kind of their retail center and some really exciting new things to visit and share. When I first did work on this way back when, it was like 80% active adult were buying here, and you really didn't have to put age restricted on it because it was sort of naturally in place. Today they're getting a lot more of the family segment in addition to active adult, but a lot of choices here for that buyer profile too. So check out the land plan, all the stuff that Rick's done with his team. It's pretty exciting and really innovative, I think, what's going on today. Now let's look at the top performing active adult communities, just active adult alone. So these are the communities that might be found within the master plan or a standalone community or master plan on its own. So the top 10, here they are. Again, the Villages, all 100% active adult. On Top of the World comes in at 2, Westlake 3, Latitude at Margaritaville, Foster's Ridge, Tradition, Encantera, Twin Lakes, Lakewood Ranch, and Summers Corner. And again, all sitting there in the South, but largely, look at the numbers in Florida. It's roughly 70% that are actually sitting there in Florida that are active adult communities outperforming the rest of the US. So let's look at those in a little bit more detail. So the Villages is in Ocala, Florida. As you guys know, you have homes priced in the 200,000s. Now, don't get me wrong, the programming at the Villages is spectacular. It feels like it's a coastal location, even though it's literally sitting right in the middle of Florida. They have huge bodies of water. They have 3 golf courses, or they have more than 3 golf courses. They have, I think it's close to like 37 golf courses, if I'm getting that right. They have 3 squares, is what I meant to say. Amazing fitness. The social programming here is phenomenal. But that price point, to be able to cash out the home that you had and really buy something in the low 2s, largely to the $400,000 price point, and there are higher price points, it's a phenomenal opportunity for that active adult buyer, and it's really great. Number 2 is On Top of the World in Ocala, Florida. It's from the mid 200,000s, once again, an exceptional price point, great lifestyle. Again, sits right next to the Villages, but indoor pool, social programming, all kinds of great opportunities to meet your neighbors and all of that. And once again, just an affordable lifestyle to retire and enjoy. Number 3, Westlake by Coulter in Palm Beach, Florida. Now for Palm Beach, to be in the low 4s, it's almost 2 times that of the Villages or On Top of the World, but this is a phenomenal location. Again, you have a Palm Beach address, and again, look at the lifestyle. Number 4, Margaritaville by Minto. It's Daytona, Florida, priced from the high 200s. Again, an excellent price point, but this does sit on the coast, and it gives you that coastal lifestyle that so many retirees are looking for as they're moving from the Midwest, the Northeast, you name it. It's a great place to retire. Number 5, Foster's Ridge by D.R. Horton in Conroe, Texas. It's priced from the high 300,000s. Now we're moving over to Texas. So for all those boomers that are chasing their kids, their grandkids, and so forth, it's a great opportunity, a great price point, and the lifestyle, and frankly, their kids and grandchildren that go with it. Number 6, Tradition. Now, if you haven't seen this community, check out GL Homes in Port St. Lucie. Not only do they design a really nice master plan, but I think they are one of, if not, the best home builders with active adult design. They know where to put the money. It's very well done, modern but traditional architecture, but also efficiently built with great design. So there's a nice marriage there to really have that architecture and something exciting for somebody to move from that home that they love so much. But check out GL Homes. I think they do a really good job with their home architecture as well. Number 7, Encantera by Trilogy. Now, this community has been out there for a very long time. It's a beautiful community. It's a lifestyle, a proposition, the beautiful desert atmosphere, golf course, you name it. And Trilogy is one of the best active adult developers, I think, out there today. Number 8, Twin Lakes by Jones Homes USA in St. Cloud, Florida. Again, priced from the 300,000s. Again, a beautiful coastal location, nice amenities, and a nice price point to go with it. Number 9, now you saw Lakewood Ranch, they're ranked number 2. Phenomenal sales activity for this master plan developer. They're in a good location, priced from the high 400,000s. They have over 19 different communities. And of course, active adult is a part of their success. Last but not least, number 10, Summers Corner by Lennar. Again, look at the water lifestyle. It's like you're on vacation all the time. You're in a great location. You're in South Carolina. Now, the Carolinas are super popular for the Northeast. Again, a lot of that wealth coming down, looking to cash out. And what a great price point from the low 300,000s for retirement for all of those Northeastern households that are 55 plus, ready to retire. What a great proposition. Now let's talk about the top 17 master plan trends. But before we do that, I want to talk through some of the demographics and why it's really so compelling to be thinking about this demographic. Now let's think about it. We've seen from September of 2021 to the present interest rate shift from 2.79 to over 8%, and the impact of that to the market. It's surprising we haven't seen sales slow more or prices actually really get hit more than they've been hit. It's really been quite staggering. And talking to a lot of builders and developers throughout the country, the active adult market is pretty interesting right now. You see this consumer coming in with 50% down, 70% down, 100% down, and this buyer profile is really fueling the market, while the first-time buyer market's much tougher to capture with the current interest rate environments. So let's look at some of the demographics and some of the population shifts that are happening. So today we have 336 million people in population. We're looking at 373 million people by 2053. We've moved from 0.8% over the last 30 years in growth to 0.3% growth in the future. So we're seeing a big slowdown in population growth. In fact, by 2042, deaths are projected to exceed births, and population growth will heavily be dependent on immigration. And so what's happening is we're seeing so many of the younger population getting married later, fewer are having children or not at all. And so because of that slowdown of birth rates and just a change in sort of the entire look at family, we're starting to see a pretty big impact to population and population over time. And with that, when you look at the 65 plus population, it's heading towards 50% of the 25 plus total population over time as we head towards 2053. Now, why is that important? When we look at the shopping trends and all of our consumer research, it's less than 1% of the population under the age of 25 is actually shopping for a home. So that 25 plus population, that's your pool of buyers. It's really significant that we're going to see such a huge portion over the age of 65. And that's not just over 55, that's over 65. That's pretty staggering. So when we look at retirement trends, again, average age for retirement, and when they're looking at potentially buying in an age-restricted community, or frankly, even just moving from their current home and maybe venturing out that 1 hour to 3 hours out, which is typical, it's 62 to 68 is the average age for retirement. The other big thing is when we look at overall population, the boomer population as a whole, it's the second largest population in the US today. Now, we also look at sort of different generational segments that are buying throughout the country. You'll actually see the top generation shopping for a home, a huge percentage in the Midwest, a huge percentage in the Northeast, Florida, and of course, California. Now, Florida going north tends to go younger, and going south definitely tends to be that older population. But you can see we're seeing a lot of that wealth coming out of the Midwest, and there is a phenomenal amount of net worth sitting in Minnesota, in Wisconsin. It's crazy. And all that wealth is moving to Florida as they go to retire. Same thing with the Northeast, same thing with California, moving over to the Southwest. Now, the other big thing that you want to look at, and this is going to be a shift in sort of the future for active adult. When we look at Silent Gen and the baby boomer and Gen X, the percentage and the shifts in ethnicity changes really shifts for Gen X versus the boomers versus the Silent Gen. So the non-white population is moving to 40% for Gen X. Now that's going to make a difference on the kinds of communities they want and the kinds or the household that they're actually going to hold over time. And you can see very faintly there for Gen Y and Gen Z, it only gets more diverse. And why does that matter? When we look at patterns like the by different cultures of the different generations that actually want age restricted really goes down when you look at the ethnic diversity. So Caucasians much more likely to choose age restricted. And so again, some of those influences are going to impact how you plan your future master plans. The other big thing is who has all the money? And the answer is the boomers. They represent 53% of today's wealth. And Gen X, as you can see, represents about 30% of that wealth. Boomers also have a lot lower debt. And unfortunately, Gen X sits there at the top. And that's because Gen X is more likely to keep more of their family members with them, like their aging parents and even their 18-plus-year-old children. They also were hit by, the Great Depression, the Great Recession, whatever you want to call it, from 2006 all the way through to about 2017, 2018. They also had a lot of debt accumulation during that time frame and also experienced more foreclosures than the boomer generation did. And as we mentioned, again, if you look at Gen X, they represent about 30% of that total wealth compared to the boomers at 53%. So now let's look at it a little bit by generation. I'm going to break this out a little bit for you guys. As we look at the boomers, again, their age is 58 to 77. Now, if we look at young boomers versus mature boomers, young boomers, about 30% of them are actually retired. Mature boomers, it's about 70% are retired. They're more likely to want to work longer because it's really how they sort of associate their success long term. And they are much more Caucasian than Gen X will be. And you'll see actually those numbers. Overall wealth, again, they represent 53% of the total wealth. I haven't now said that 3 times. They're almost half the political influence out there. They will have a huge impact over time on future elections. Huge, and they do today. Cultural power, not as much. They're not as technically savvy. And again, they're not as, frankly, culturally diverse. So they only represent about 9% of that power. Their ambition, again, very associated with education, their jobs, overall quality of life, and aspirations. They want innovation. They want something different. They don't want to be like their parents, but yet they still want the importance of family and all that goes with that. As we break them out, and I wanted to show you this just from a lifestyle and life stage perspective, how are they different? So let's just look at the housing implications. When we look at the mature boomer, they're mostly couples still. About 1 in 5, though, is a single female. They're settling into retirement. They're more likely to drive for single family detached. So they'll easily go out an hour to 3 hours. They're more likely to have things like a pension. The young boomers will not. And their home is really their biggest competition, just like it is for the young boomers. But again, they're a lot less likely to move unless it's single family detached. The young boomer, again, has substantial equity, but they're going to be more focused on location than the mature boomer is. Lifestyle and location is a big deal. They think they're 20 years younger. The mature boomer does too, but more so for that young boomer. They're more sensitive to location, as I mentioned. They're definitely more attached to their home and location, so they're going to be more likely to age in place too, if they can. You're going to really have to do something a little bit more unique because for sure, their home is their biggest competition and they've invested a lot in it. Big trends for the boomers. They're focused on more health and social. They want lifelong learning. They're more competitive in sport and life and everything that goes with that. They seek success amongst their peers. Things like trails connecting people and places and really getting out there. Again, they think they're much younger, both mentally and socially. They're looking for healthy environments. And this generation, again, as I mentioned, will lead with more aging in place for the very first time. Technology will support that. As we look at Gen X, their ages 43 to 57. So not quite ready for that retirement, but that's really who you want to plan for ahead. They've had many more broken families. And because of that, family is really a big deal for them. They're more likely to have multi-generational households. They grew up as helicopter parents. They're not only helicopter parents to their kids, but to their parents, right? So they're going to really fight to keep them together. They're much more ethnically diverse. And they're mostly working. They're going to work longer than the boomers because they have to, not just because they want to. They're independent and they're going to redefine the rules for retirement. It's going to change. Overall, they represent 30% of the wealth. You saw that. They have 30% of the political influence, so not quite as powerful as boomers as it relates to the elections. But cultural power is where they have a much bigger influence. So 36% there. Again, very individualistic, flexible. They are anti-authority, but they are looking for work-life balance, and they're very extreme about keeping the family together. Now, this generation is the least prepared for retirement than any generations in the past. They don't have pensions. They haven't saved enough. They have more debt. And Social Security is expected to run out by 2041. Now, I do suspect this will change. But today, it's expected that Social Security will run out by 2041. So they better start saving, but they're also you're going to see a lot of change as it relates to how they live and retire in the future. Again, as I mentioned, they're more likely to have multi-generational households, both for their parents, both for their 18-plus-year-old children, and frankly, they look at that as their future residents one day as well. So again, looking at housing implications for them, you heard it, less affluent, very family-centric, much more ethnically diverse, multi-generational needs, and probably less likely to look for age-restricted and more likely to look for closer-in locations and age-targeted. So overall trends for them, seeking life with balance, sacrifice for the family, affordability will continue to be important through their retirement. They'll seek tech-savvy environments to support working longer. They appreciate both digital, but they also romanticize digital-free environments. They remember life with both, with and without. They're the most likely to seek out a rural location to support that bigger house, longer lasting family at home. So again, larger homes serving larger families. They're the most likely to have a multi-generational household or something that supports a bigger family when and if they need it. So now let's look at those top 17 trends for active adult. Number 1, home design. Light is huge for this buyer. Average size home, 1,200 to 1,800 square feet. Entertainment is also huge, indoor and outdoors. Now, home design also reflects the outside too. So again, having spaces for social entertainment, exterior diversity. They want something that's cute and charming enough for them to move. So again, that exterior means something, but even just a place to hang out on the porch. This demographic is more likely to hang out on the front of their home than the back of their home because they want to socialize with others in their neighborhood. Trend number 2, no tax states are a big deal. Affordability of all things, in every form it can come in. They need it, they want it, and that's important to them. So those no tax states have been very popular. Nevada, Texas, Florida. You can see it in the top master plan performance. Trend number 3, on the affordability lines, low tax, low to no HOA is a big deal. So every way that you can possibly look at, again, larger units in the Del Webb communities and the Trilogy communities, that really helps to give you a lot for a much lower HOA, or just be very sensitive when you're planning those communities closer into town. Rely on those amenities that are close by. You don't have to repeat what's already sitting in and around that location if you're doing smaller locations closer in. Trend number 4, security. Think about it. If you're moving an hour plus out or it's an area you don't know, you're just going to feel better having security. So whether it's roving security throughout the community, Man guard gate, I recommend a remote gate because it's much less expensive. Or there's also tons of new technology out there that does 24/7 cameras throughout the master plan that are phenomenal. Trend number 5, health and wellness, whether it's eating right, it's going out for a run, it's health and fitness, you name it. It's so important. Clean air in the club facilities, clean air in the home, clean water throughout all of the water systems, whether you're showering in it, your skin is the largest organ on your body. All those things are super important to this buyer, and it will influence their move. Trend number 6, on the same vein of health and wellness, fitness is the new club. And so when you're going out to meet new neighbors, going out to hang out with your neighbors, taking your husband on your arm to get out there, again, that club environment really has become so on trend to be the fitness club, not necessarily the old stodgy club with leather chairs where you sit there and read the newspaper. There's so much more to do today. Make that club interesting and inviting. So whether it's bringing that light inside like this, bringing green into that environment, it better be a club environment that people actually want to come to. Number 7, just add water. All of these really great selling master plans have water as a part of them. Even when you look at the whole crystal lagoon phenomenon, you can bring the ocean anywhere. So whether it's land, sitting in the middle of the US or sitting on the coastlines, you can really transform a place today with crystal lagoons. And it's substantial what it can do, not just for housing values, but retail, hotel, just recreating or bringing up a place from the ground up, literally. Trend number 8, bring that water to those guys too. So pets, 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 whether it's the dog park, all the things that relate to pets. This buyer clearly has more pets than children, and it's everything for these consumers as they're moving into that next stage of their life. Trend number 9, again, remember lifelong learning. They're going to work longer, so support it. Support work and education in everything that they actually do. Trend number 10, savings and giving back. So solar and all that green technology, yes, it's important to them to put green in their pocket, but they're also the most likely to pay for green technology, and they're also the most likely to want it for just long-term savings, all the things that are important to them and their financial security. Trend number 11, so multimodal, not just walking trails. I mean, walking trails, certainly that's the easiest way just to get outdoors, enjoy some fitness, but also, just simple things like golf carts. Even, if you've got the water, make it work for you. Let them take a boat to entertainment and things like that. I'll never forget a focus group I did for the villages. And this woman just tearfully was so thankful. And her life, I quote, just began again because she was able to take her golf cart everywhere because she was technically legally blind, couldn't drive a car, but she could drive a golf cart anywhere. It's also a great tool for just something simple like, I don't know if it's legal or not, but when you're on these golf trails, if you go to have a beverage at the local restaurant, it just makes it a much safer form of transportation. Golf. Golf really trended out, and so many people have gone away from golf. But just golf and outdoor activities certainly came back during COVID. It's really had to come back with, I would say, all generations. My kids love golf. They play golf. They think it's great. But it's such a great social activity. It's great exercise. You get a good walk in. So whether you have golf in your community or you're connecting to golf that's in the community, in the outer area, it's definitely a great attraction for this buyer profile. Number 12, oh, we're still on golf. I do want to underscore whether you have golf in your community or not, even virtual golf, especially as we're moving towards Gen X. It's a nice little fun addition. It underscores that golf may not be in your community, but it's somewhere nearby. It's a nice way to kind of underscore that golf too. Number 13, social programming. So this is probably the least expensive, most impactful that you can possibly give to your master plan. So planning activities throughout, involve your community in creating these community events. Let them actually drive those events. There is no better investment than having a great activities coordinator And then having that activities coordinator, frankly, involve people in the community to keep those activities going and create more to come. And on that note, trend number 14 is just clubs. Again, let them create their own clubs, things that they're interested in. This is actually the running club at the villages. It's such an easy form to just bring people together. It's fun, it's exciting. I think the villages has over 80 clubs in their community. It's pretty phenomenal. Trend number 15. I think this is the Pied Piper of people. And I think it's brilliant. At the villages, 3 o'clock every single day, music flows. And with that comes people from all over smiling, dancing in the squares. It really engages all these people together. It's so fun to be a part of. And I think it's the secret ingredient to the village's success. And with that, there's a second ingredient. I got to throw it in there. Trend number 16 is definitely alcohol. This buyer loves to drink. They're excited to hang out with their friends, be social. And there's nothing better than a little liquid courage, I think, to hang out with your friends and enjoy the day for sure. And I think it probably goes very nicely with the music as well. Last but not least, it seems to be sort of the sport of the day right now, pickleball and court sports. So don't forget, pickleball is so easy. You can do 2 pickleball courts to every 1 tennis court. It's super fun, it's super social, and it seems to be very popular with this demographic. So those are the top 17 trends, kind of the don't miss this. Whenever you can integrate them, whether you have them in your master plan or you can point to them in the community, I think that's the real key. So with that, that's our wrap up for the third quarter 2023 top ranking master plans and some of the trends that go with it. We're going to talk a little bit about what's next. I'm going to lead and then I'll turn it back over to Tim. What's next for master plans? We're going to come out with a whole new program for master plan research, but also don't forget, we have webinars to come. We'll have the wrap up for 2023 to show the top selling master plans, who won that horse race. But I'm also going to do a special feature on the most innovative master plans. And that's not just actively selling master plans over time. What have been some of the really innovative things that master plan developments have done, not just in the US, but I'm looking worldwide as well. The first quarter of 2024, we'll actually have top amenity preferences, and that'll be from our consumer research. And then the second quarter of 2024, we'll do top MPCs by region. How are they different? Do they have to be different by region? What are the key characteristics for success? So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Tim, and he's going to talk about Elevate and what's coming next.
Elevate is our concept to explore. Right here it says the art of high-rise living, but it's more than that, where Future Place has been thinking about the horizontal element and how we improve community development. We also want to think about vertical, and combining the two, it really is the places that we live. So this will be our first inaugural event. We invite all of you to attend. If you are involved in rental or for sale, the marketing of these, we'd love to have you there. So please join us. And then Mollie, anything else? Because I've got a couple questions for you.
The very last thing is don't forget, Enterprise tracks master plans throughout the country. So we have so many cool things you can do with this, whether you just want to look at it by region, if you want to break it up. I mean, I'm showing you different ways that you can use it, how I use it, but you can even go in and look at all the amenities by master plan. And really, as you're sort of studying how to compete and all those things, I would say those are the big things. And then Tim, what kind of questions do you have? I'm going to leave this up for those of you who would like to share, or if you have any questions, please throw those out. But Tim, I'm ready for you. Shoot.
First is a comment. Second will be a question for you. The first comment is that Liz reached out. She's with Mission Ridge in El Paso. And while we're not covering El Paso in the database, we do have deeds. And Mollie, she wanted to let us know she's going to send us the information. I want to give her a shout out because the company has had a net total sales of 738 homes so far this year. We're talking about El Paso. So Liz will be in contact. Yeah, we'll be in contact.
Yes,
Mollie, one of the questions is that, as you were showing the active adult market, and they're in the Smile States, we see it heavy in Texas, Florida, a little bit Nevada, a little bit California. And you were also talking about being careful about HOAs because, the monthly cost is a consideration for this buyer. Can you share with us how you've seen active adult work as an infill or as a smaller community where it's not 4,000 units, but it might be 200 or 400?
Sure. I actually think it's going to be a big trend going forward, particularly as you look at it's part of why I really tried to define the differences between mature boomers, young boomers, and Gen X. Young boomers particularly don't want to leave as far. Gen X particularly won't because of the responsibility that they have to their families. So we're going to see a lot more of that trending towards, I think, the core, and we're going to see more smaller communities and more age targeted, not just age restricted. So yes, I do think the key there is just be sensitive to your HOAs and what you're programming. The closer you are to the core, the less need you have to add all those amenities, right? And so
Right on.
so that's a really big piece to understand. I did a big amenity study, for example, in Boston. And really, what we got from that was, I really don't need all that here, and I don't want to pay extra for that because it's really at the foot of my building. And so just be sensitive to what amenities are close by that you can actually leverage, and then the kinds of amenities that will separate you from your competition that just one, don't exist, or two, that you can do such a special job on. It'll make them move because, again, your competition's their house.
Right on. This next question came from Steve. Steve, it's good to hear from you. I'll take it first, Mal, and then I want your take on it. And the question was basically, are we seeing rentals in active adult communities? And
Sure.
if you had been with us at Future Place, you might have heard a representative from Minto Communities say that they interviewed some of their existing residents. Would you like to have rentals in the community? And I think the quote was, the answers came back not as no, the answers came back as hell no. However, I can give you an example or two where we are starting to see some rentals in active adult communities, really as a place for people to test drive. Lennar is doing this in Maryland, by the way. And it's a way to test drive on a small basis. People that want to come in and even get short-term rentals. And Del Webb used to do this, many, many years ago. But the concept is allow people to really test drive the community.
That's
Mal,
right.
what have you seen and what do you think about rentals in active adult communities?
So two things. We actually do ask on our survey too for all master plans across the country. Would you like to have something to rent, attached, detached, and so forth? So long story short, for master plans, yes, the 55 plus consumer would love a try and buy scenario. Imagine if you're moving from Minnesota to Florida and you're going to live at the Villages or let's say Ave Maria, you might want to go rent there for 6 months, but you want something that's easy and that you don't want to take on a house or whatever. So I think it's absolutely an opportunity. It depends on who you're also surveying. So Minto may have heard hell no, but I would tell you for the consumer moving in that's from outside the area to have the opportunity to have what Del Webb did back in the day, which was a vacation villa. I think it's a smart approach to letting them try it out, see if they love it, and you just have to make sure that it blends in nicely with the community and lives and feels great. So it's anywhere from 5 to 15% said that they actually did want a single family for rent option. And then amongst that, it's like close to 80% that actually would prefer detached, but logically speaking, of course you would. And those that don't, it's usually about no maintenance, but even the detached alternatives are definitely a no maintenance lifestyle. So I would absolutely consider it.
All right, last thing is you gave us 17 top trends, and we focused in on the active adult side of the world right now. For the people that were with us today, for all of our listeners, give us the single takeaway. If you're thinking about the active adult side of the world, particularly as part of a master plan, but just even standalone, what's the single most important thing you've got to consider?
Social programming.
Beautiful. I think that's a perfect takeaway because it begins and ends with the interaction of the people,
Yeah.
and that community is what sells the ultimate place. I love that, Mall. Well, ladies and gentlemen, please send out any questions you have for us. The recording will be available. We appreciate having all of you here. Mollie and I send you guys love, and please join us next time. Mollie, any last words?
Thanks everyone for joining us.
You
Absolutely.
got it. Thanks, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.